This is the Iowa Weather Report for Saturday, May 18th, 2013. Now our first look at the 0Z GFS Model Run. This is at 1 p.m. this afternoon. We have a trough digging into the Intermountain West. We have a bit of a ridge over the Mississippi River Valley, and with that storm system moving into the high plains, there'll be a low pressure center over Kansas. Some severe weather will be likely over the plain states, Nebraska, Kansas, into Oklahoma. We'll see the severe weather outlook a little bit later on. Some rain across the Dakotas back into Montana. As we move into Sunday tomorrow, that system moves up into the plain states. You can see the energy moving into Kansas and Oklahoma back into New Mexico. And with that, that'll bring us some showers and thunderstorms here with the low pressure center over about Grand Island or Hastings, Nebraska. Some severe weather is entirely possible across most of, if not all, the state of Iowa here on Sunday. And as we take a look at the risk area, this is today's risk. This is a slight risk of severe weather for today and mainly tonight across far western Iowa, the Dakotas, western Minnesota, moderate risk over Nebraska, Kansas into western Oklahoma. The slight risk extends into Texas. This is the tornado outlook for today and tonight. 10% chance over Kansas into the northwestern part of Oklahoma, including places like Dodge City, Kansas, and Woodward, Oklahoma. 5% probabilities up into South Dakota and down into Texas. The damaging wind outlook, 30% chance from about North Platte, Nebraska to about Wichita to Woodward, Oklahoma or so. And then when we look at the large hail outlook for today and tonight, the enhanced area, the hatched area of larger hail from South Dakota down into north and west Texas, and the 45% chance over Nebraska into northwestern Oklahoma. Now, our severe weather threat here comes on Sunday, a slight risk of severe weather for the entire state of Iowa. There is a moderate risk of severe weather, though, from about Kansas City down to about Oklahoma City. That'll be where the better chances of severe weather will occur. And in that area, a 45% shot at severe weather across that area in the moderate risk area. The hatched area goes from about Ardmore, Oklahoma, through Tulsa, Kansas City, and up to about Des Moines, and the 50% chance all the way up to Minneapolis. Now let's take a look at some parameters. This is the CAPE values. This is on Sunday. All of this will be on Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. You can see CAPE values across the state will be in excess of 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram, so significant for severe weather. This is the bulk shear to 850 millibars. You can see there is going to be some shear, about 30 to 40 knots. That'll be significant for some rotating updrafts, so we could see some hail and maybe a few tornadoes with this. And then when we take a look at the lifted index, you can see the lifted index is going to be way low, up to about -8 to -12 across the area. Now this is looking at the GFS. Now when we switch it to the NAM, this is the NAM's version. You can see the lifted index is lower. Values about -6 to about -8 or so. Higher values to our southwest where the moderate risk is. And then when we go to the other parameters, the CAPE values, they look increasingly lower. About 1,500 to 2,500 joules per kilogram. Slightly higher, in fact, much higher over Illinois, and even down into Oklahoma and around Kansas City. And when we look at the bulk shear, the surface to 850 millibars, you can see there's still some shear around. It's not as impressive as the GFS, but there's still some chance of some rotating updrafts from Iowa down into eastern and central Oklahoma here on Sunday. Now, when we look at the tornado parameters, this is the STP, the significant tornado parameter. This is from the NAM. This is at 7 p.m. Sunday evening. The better STPs over northwestern Missouri, about near St. Joseph, Missouri, down to Kansas City and even across Oklahoma. But when we look at it from the GFS, you can see we have decent STPs across the state of Iowa, but better chances down in Oklahoma from about west of Tulsa through Oklahoma City down to Chickasha and Lawton and Wichita Falls, Texas. Here's the supercell potential, and you can see it's not overly impressive here on the NAM, the better SCPs over northwestern Missouri and over Oklahoma. But then when we take a look at it on the GFS, it's off the chart in Oklahoma down into North Texas around Wichita Falls up to Lawton, and another area over the eastern part of the state of Iowa. So There's a big difference between the NAM and the GFS on this as well. And then when we take a look at the Craven-Brooks Index, this is off the NAM. All of this again at 7 p.m. Sunday. You see the better chances over, or the better higher Craven-Brooks Index over south and west of here. But then when we look at it from the GFS, you see off the chart again over Oklahoma down into the Red River Valley of Texas, and the red area over 40 goes all the way up into the eastern and southern counties of the state. And here's another one. This is of the STP at 7 p.m. This is a probability of it being over 1. And you see at least 50 to 70% chance over the eastern and southern counties of the state as well. We go back to the GFS, and this is at 1 a.m. Monday morning. You can see the low pressure center will be west of Sioux City, so there still should be some showers and thunderstorms around, the GFS painting most of the shower and thunderstorm activity to our south. The low pressure center doesn't really move a whole lot here Monday at 1 p.m. It's still centered near the Siouxland, so there's still a possibility we could see some severe weather in the far eastern counties of the state Monday. We'll have to wait and see on that. Tuesday, this low pressure center just does not want to move. It moves to about near Mason City. We could see some rain showers in the northern counties of the state, maybe in the eastern counties, but a dry slot could bring some peaks of sunshine around. That could be the case here on Wednesday as the low pressure center moves to near the Quad Cities by this point, so it could be showery. There could be some sun here and there. Temperatures likely down into the 70s by this point with all the clouds and rain around. And on Thursday, the GFS continues to want to paint some showers around. I think it's going to be more clouds than rain, and it should be clearing by this point, but we'll see what happens on future models runs with this. Friday, the GFS does show it will be much clearer, much calmer, heading into Memorial Day weekend, and temperatures seasonal in the 70s to about 80 degrees, with some showers developing again over the plain states. And we head to a week from today. We have a trough over the east, we have a trough over the west, a ridge over the middle part of the country, and that's going to keep most of the stormy action away from us. It'll be over the north and west, over the east, and around here it'll be fairly calm, seasonal, temperatures in the 70s to near 80, some rain showers along the east coast, some over the plains, some in the Intermountain West, and in the Pacific Northwest as well. A couple days after that, as we head to May the 29th, we still have a bit of a ridge, not a very strong ridge over us. Trough over the west, upper level feature off the mid-Atlantic coast, and with that we could see some showers starting to form over the plain states again, winds starting to turn southerly, so temperatures should start to warm up as we head into the week after Memorial Day. A little bit of activity over the Florida Straits. And at the end of the forecast on June the 2nd, not a very exciting pattern. No real troughs or ridges around. Kind of a zonal flow, a fairly weak zonal flow at that. Maybe a little bit of activity just to our north over Minnesota, Wisconsin. Maybe a shower around here. Seasonal temperatures. No real heat waves or cold snaps looking at this. But this is a fluid situation and could change. The satellite image from last evening showed a complex of showers and thunderstorms over the Dakotas into Nebraska. There was some severe weather with that earlier in the day. Another smaller complex over the southeast produced a little bit of severe weather there as well, and a couple of clouds over the Intermountain West. The watch warning map from last evening, we had a severe thunderstorm watch at the time over western South Dakota, a flood watch over southeastern Montana, a red flag warning over New Mexico, a dense fog advisory in southwestern Kansas, and river flood warnings along the Mississippi River Valley. The QPF chart, precipitation over the next 5 days. This is through Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, showing some heavy amounts of precipitation possible over the Dakotas and Minnesota, upwards of 3 to 4.5 inches. Around here, maybe about 1 to 2 inches, heavier in any thunderstorms.